Welcome to the world of probiotic foods. This is Cultured Food Life with your host, Donna Schwenk.
Hi, everybody. I am Donna, and we talk a lot about microbes on this show. How to keep your gut healthy, to keep you healthy, happy, and strong, and how to take care of those 100 trillion microbes that call you home. It is a wonderful thing when you get to understand how they work, how they assist you, and how they keep you well every day. And it's exciting for me to share some of the things I've learned over the last 16 years about these 100 trillion unseen helpers that make us our home. And I love to tell people how to add and make probiotic foods a part of their life, how to add them to their diet, and how simple and easy it is to make, and how fun it is to make. And today we're going to talk about something a little bit different. We're going to talk about the microbes that are in dirt. And microbes are all around us. They're inside of us. They're on us. They're everywhere in this planet Earth. And they're the most dominant organism on this planet. And they're the most dominant thing in you. More than cells in your body, you're mostly microbes. And it's how you're designed. You're a sack of bacteria walking around. That's what you are. And microbes are everywhere on this planet. And it's exciting to understand how it all works together and how it applies to your life. And microbes, they do everything. And they're everywhere. And they're inhabiting everybody. And they're making you their home. But most people don't understand the hundreds of processes that they do every day. We need them to digest and synthesize our food and make vitamins and minerals to form a barricade against disease-causing bacteria. But this is just the beginning of understanding what they can do. Since you can't really see them, you kind of ignore them because you don't know they're there, but they are inhabiting you and everybody else. And it's interesting that now they're kind of making the news about how they're in dirt and how they can work like Prozac, okay? This is some new information in the last couple of years that has come to the surface. And in 2007, Christopher Lowry, associate professor in the Department of Integrative Physiology and the Center for Neuroscience at the University of Colorado at Boulder, and a bunch of researchers published an article in Neuroscience that they had been discovering that dirt was the new Prozac. They found a bacteria in the soil, and it's called mycobacteria. And it's been found to be very effective and works on the same neurons as Prozac does. And it's offering people a natural lift in their mood. And it's found in the dirt. So here's what these researchers did. They exposed lung cancer patients to the bacteria that was found in soil. And these patients unexpectedly reported increases in their quality of life and in their moods. And these special microbes that work like Prozac in the soil caused cytokines levels to rise, which allowed levels of serotonin to rise. And the bacterium was tested both by injection and ingestion, and the results were increased cognitive ability, lower stress, and better concentration than the control group that didn't have them. So you know how gardeners always say that the garden is their happy place and they just love it? Well, they say that for good reason. Some gardeners inhale the bacteria and they get it between their fingers or they get a cut, which gets into their bloodstream. And it can have a very calming effect on the body. And the natural effects of the soil bacteria can work like an antidepressant. And they said that it can last for up to 3 weeks, which is very, very interesting. And this is the only thing that dirt can do. The surface of the earth holds very health-boosting energy. And just as the sun gives you vitamin D, the ground gives off what they call electrical nutrition. So all you have to do is touch it to become truly alive. And the earth is an electrical planet, and you are bioelectrical yourself. So you're living on an electrical planet, but you're also bioelectrical, and your body functions via the heart and nervous system work electricity through your body as well. So when you touch or walk, especially barefoot on the earth, they call this grounding. And they say it's kind of like an electrical nutrition that restores and stabilizes all the circuits and reduces inflammation throughout the body. They actually made a really interesting movie about this, and they called it Grounding. And grounding had this huge impact on one man, and he shared his experiences with others, and he found that it healed the town. It's such an amazing thing. You should Google Grounding, the movie, and watch it because it's fascinating. It was quite an impressive movie to watch, and you can, watch it yourself. I think it's free available online. And what they have found in these 15 years of research were so many stories of healing about people who were walking barefoot on the earth or getting things that were grounding them to the earth. And they found that it was healing people in such miraculous ways that they've been doing research on it for many, many years. And just as grounding or walking barefoot on the ground can accomplish the task of grounding, digging in a garden or swimming in water is grounding too. They actually have grounding shoes out now. They have grounding sheets for your bed and mattresses. And people are really having a lot of really good results with it. And on a personal note, this kind of had a little bit of an impact on me too. It was, I had just started writing, I think it was my second book. Yeah, I was writing my second book. And my daughter had just gotten married. And I I was under a time crunch and I had to write my second book. And I'm like running out of time because I had spent all my energy on my daughter's wedding and getting all that done. I was really behind. So at the time we had a boat that I could sleep on down at this marina in Lake of the Ozarks in Missouri. And so I took myself down there to get away from everybody to start working. And something about the water is very soothing to me. And walking barefoot at the lake really calmed me down, like incredibly, because I was still going 100 miles an hour after my daughter's wedding. And I was feeling really anxious because I had so much to do. But something about the water and walking barefoot on the ground, I remember this peace came over me, and I called my husband to tell him that I had just started writing my book, and it just came out of me like a river. It was just unbelievably easy for me to write when weeks before I couldn't do anything. And I had felt like I'd had a writer's block, but as soon as I got to the lake and started spending I think I spent a couple of days just walking barefoot down at the shores and then swimming in the water. And then suddenly I had all this inspiration to write my book, and it came very, very fast and quickly. And when I came back home, I went barefoot outside every day, and I had this little hammock, and there's a little chair there, and sometimes I would sit in the chair and I would dig my toes into the ground because my dogs were outside with me and they were digging holes, and I would stick my feet in the dirt. And I wrote every day, and it took me a month to write my book, and that's like unheard of for me. And I was done, and it was effortless for me, and I couldn't believe how easy it was. And it was funny because I had always struggled before. It would take me 6 months to write a book. And suddenly I was either in the chair with my feet in the dirt, or I was on the water with my legs in the water. And everything was effortless for me. And it was really surprising to me. And when I wrote my third book, I wrote it in the backyard as well and found the same experience. It was really funny. When I was writing my third book, I was sitting under an acorn tree, and I kept getting hit in the head by acorns. It was the funniest thing. I mean, every time I turned around, I was getting another acorn on the head. So it was constantly a wake-up call for me too, because I was having so much effortless ability. I was just so easy and effortless to write my book. But every once in a while, I'd get knocked on the head by an acorn, and it would give me a new thought. So who knows what was going on? But it was such a peaceful time for me. It was one of the happiest times I can remember the last few years was writing my book, but it was because I was outside all the time. And it was just it does have a calming effect on me. And it was really undeniable that the effects and the creativity that I felt was coming from spending that time outside. I mean, it really was an astounding thing to me. And I had to connect it to the earth itself. And my neighbors would freak out when they would see me outside walking and jogging in 10-degree weather last year. I remember them when I after I had written that book, I would go jogging. I just was determined to stay outside more often. And I felt so much better when it would snow and it was cold outside. I would go jog outside and people would flip out because it was so cold. But it gave me a real calm inside, and I never quit doing it because I realized the benefits of me connecting to the earth in that way was really not only helped me physically, but it helped me be creative. And to this day, I spend a lot of time outside. You know, I would always talk to my neighbors and see them, but for the most part, in the winter, nobody's out there but me. But whenever I would have a writer's block, I would go outside, and usually I had to run because it was so cold, but it would break that writer's block every time. So is it the electrical energy that's coming from the earth, or to allow me to be the creative person that I need to be? Is that there's something to it? I know that there is, and I'm not alone in this. There's so much research coming forth, and I know many gardeners have exclaimed how gardening is such a happy place for them. And what convinces me more that we should grow our own food, that we should connect to the soil that our food grows in. It's good for our bodies, our mind. It brings us a peacefulness. I just planted some new herbs in my garden, and I use them all the time. I went outside and planted some thyme, and I have basil and I have mint, and I love herbs. I have oregano, and I use them all the time. I dish, but there's something about digging them out, and cutting them from your own garden that is so rewarding. And even if it's just something as simple as herbs, even if they're just in pots, it's that culturing nature that connects us back to the earth in a way that I think is very healing to our bodies and to our microbes. We get microbes from the dirt that we normally wouldn't get. And cultured foods, that I use so many things to make my cultured foods, and they are enhanced by the foods I add with them. And all of these foods, for instance, a lot of my cultured vegetables, I use herbs and all kinds of different things. I now have fruit trees in my yard, and there is nothing in the world like going down into my backyard and getting an orange or a lemon from my tree and connecting to, the fact that we grew it, that it's there for us. And it is so rewarding. I mean, and for years I've always had an herb garden, and I've always had a regular garden. And I think we've lost a little bit of that because it's such a hurried pace. And when we connect to our food and we connect to our body and we connect where it came from, it really does bring us back to a center place of balance. And it has for me too. And there's a lot of people now that are selling probiotics that are soil-based organisms. And I have tried those in the past. And I'll be honest with you, because I never tell you guys anything that I won't do. I didn't see a lot of benefits from those, taking them in that form. We took them for a long time, and this was before cultured foods. And I don't know if it's the way they were manufactured. I just think it's better to grow your own food and get the dirt from your own yard where you know everything that's going on there and you can control it. And I also think that it's good for you to get out and walk around and connect your feet to the earth, and to get into the water if you can get near a lake or an ocean, or get out and enjoy being outside. I don't want to say anything bad about them. I just didn't see any benefits from them, and they were kind of expensive. I've gotten more benefits from just growing herbs in my backyard and having cultured foods. It was not too long after that I found cultured foods, and these cultured foods, whether it's kefir, kimchi, cultured vegetables, sourdough breads, all of them have these living organisms that manufacture my food. And just like the dirt, there's these beneficial organisms that know how to transform my food into something that will be meaningful for my body and for me. And I just trust that. It's a simple process for me, guys. It's simple for you too. It's not hard to do this. And I hope you get out and go to the farmer's market, find somebody that you trust, somebody that, grows fantastic food and has a passion and a love for it, because that goes into the food. My foods and my website and the things that I do, I hope that when you read my stuff, or when you listen to my voice, or when you buy my products or whatever, that you feel the passion that I feel. And the reason I feel passion is because it changed my life. And I think that we all have a piece of that. I think the farmers that love what they do grow great food, and I think it's wonderful to connect with them. And I mean, I love talking to some of the people that grow some of the fruits and vegetables that I buy. They're so passionate about it, and they teach me so much. I bought a pot of herbs the other day from a guy, and he was telling me all that. I just made some of this delicious meal he was telling me to make with these herbs, and there's just nothing like that. It connects us to one another. It connects us to our food because the cells of our body are made from the food we eat. And, when our food is grown in soil and there's all kinds of organisms down in that ground that are helping promote growth or harming the growth. And I think when we nurture it, it nurtures us. So I hope that, whatever you decide to do to keep yourself healthy, whether it's cultured foods, whether it's eating lots of fruits and vegetables, whether it's paleo or vegan or whatever you decide to do, I hope you'll do it with passion and with love. And I hope you'll connect to not only your food, but to the earth that we live in, to the outside, to nature, because there is a calming effect out there that can bring us a lot of balance and a lot of joy to our lives. So that's this week's show. And I just wanted to share with you some personal stories that happened to me. I hope you'll go out and get dirty and get some dirt on your feet and maybe enjoy the sunshine because spring is on its way here. Well, it's actually here, although in parts of the country it's been very, very cold. But I love being outside. Springtime is a great time to renew your energy by going outside and connecting with your loved ones and with the earth and with your fruits and vegetables or your food that is grown and nurtures your body. So have a wonderful week, and don't forget to add some cultured foods to your diet. Maybe grab a bottle of kombucha or a couple spoonfuls of cultured vegetables, or maybe some kefir or some fermented probiotic drinks. And if you want to know how to make those, head on over to my site, shoot me an email. We're here to help you. We're here to help you get healthy and maybe give you some wisdom about your life and make this journey a fun one for you. Have a great week, guys. Thanks so much.